Hey, what's up, guys? It's DarkArmedDuelist, and today I'm back with
Layne.
And Noah just got first place at Locals with branded ELDLICH, and I'm super excited to actually take this profile. I'm so excited that you actually won with this deck.
Yeah, I did a good bit of editing since the last time I did the video, and I realized some of this. I read y'all's comments too, and y'all actually did make a lot of good points. So I couldn't wait to implement some of the changes, and it clearly worked.
Yeah, so let's go ahead and get straight on into the profile. But before we do, guys, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell on there so you can come part of our notification squad right down there. And don't forget to check out the Patreon down in the description below, and we'll get straight on into this.
All right, first thing, pretty standard, 2 ELDLICH.
Oh yeah, and you got the gold rares.
You have to. Golden Boy, Golden Rare.
Oh yeah.
His ability what came up most for me today was the ability to discard a spell or trap in him and just send a card to the grave. It's actually really good for a tier matchup, believe it or not, because they're going to use their biggest fusion to come back, and he comes out at 35, and you can crash with it again, and it's like you lost both your monsters, but his doesn't come back.
Yeah.
Ours will.
And the nice thing is he can't be destroyed by card effects when you bring him out like that.
And he's 1,000 stronger. Defense, too. So that's another thing. It's 38 defense if you're trying to play the long game. You have a 3,800 defense monster, as well as it can't be destroyed by card effects.
Yeah, and on top of that, with him, if they don't have the field spell, it's just 3,000.
Exactly. Next up, you have Double Heavenly Prison. This card single-handedly won me a match today.
Oh yeah, Lord of the Heavenly Prison is ridiculous. It's like these two, like with your Golden Lord and this card, it's just ridiculous.
I got to feel really good because I got to go into Gustav Max for game in game 3, and it was such the best feeling. But being able to set any spell or trap when you use his effect is unbelievably useful.
And you got to play that card tactically.
You have to.
You got to use it as the protection and the offense.
You get to use it as, like, you want to set up your ELDLICH play. If he's engraved, you can set Sanguine if ELDLICH is engraved and send it, summoning him back, and then you get Conquer Hakiro, which is really fun. But sometimes you just need to super poly things.
Oh, yeah.
And Fallen of Albaz helped me bait a lot of the stuff that people had set. So I got to summon Albaz, ditch Conk or ditch Hakiro, and do like Imperm. And I'm like, okay, cool. And then I actually got to use my actual plays. But if he does actually get to go off every now and then, you just get to have a cool monster that you can extend with.
Yeah, and he's just super poly on legs.
Next up, I am continuing with the 1 Ecclesia. Guys, Nadir's Servant, her, and Punishment, that helped me win a good amount of my games today. Sometimes the ELDLICH, hands are just bad, or you get debarriered like I did 4 times.
Oh, yeah.
And you just say, summon, get a card that's going to pop 2 cards.
You got debarriered with this?
I got debarriered so many times. They saw that I did branded fusion. And so game 2 or game 3, they just call fusion.
I got you.
This is Hex Sealed. This lets you get Dragoon.
I got you.
I'm not even gonna lie.
It counts as Dark Magician when it's engraved because you can use it as a substitute fusion monster.
It's amazing to have. And then last for the monsters, the obligatory best hand trap. This was one of the few changes that I did compared to my last one. I did I had Triple Ash last time. That wasn't one of the changes.
It's literally the best hand trap.
Easily. We go on to my very, very brief spells. Branded Fusion.
Gotta play 3.
You have to play 3. You get Albion and Dragoon, or you get which came up today, Titaniclad, and a monster unaffected by card effects that was possible from the extra deck.
You summon Titaniclad?
Willingly. Because I would go Branded Fusion, send ELDLICH and Albaz to get Titaniclad, and then I would use ELDLICH's effect to come back to summon him. It's good for putting him in grave just for a foolish burial.
Yeah.
Or you can straight up just, hey, I have a 3,900 beater that does not care about your monster.
Yeah. Wow, that's really good too, because that gets huge.
Exactly. I love it. I'm only still playing the 2 Pot of Extravagance just because as much as I want to see Floodgates and have the draw power, end of the day we are playing branded. So I don't want to get rid of my entire extra deck when I can still have the possibility of making a Dragoon, a Titaniclad, or a Lubellion.
I got you. That makes sense.
Next up, you have Harpy's Feather Duster. Back row is important. Between imperms and waiting for your sprite player to use their starter or the adventure package or the worst card in the game right now, Mystic Mine. This just helps clear out a lot of problems that can go up against the deck and help you move forward.
Yeah, once you get rid of Faithful Avenger once,
exactly,
it's over.
It's over. And last but not least, I still play the one Nadir Zervin.
Okay.
Because I don't want Ecclesia or that package to be the focus of the deck. It's only supposed to be a backup. It's the third option. Because Ecclesia is only meant to get your punishments and help you just destroy things and help you possibly wait until you can get your Branded or your Eldritch stuff.
It makes a lot of sense, too, because if you use that, you can't go into the extra deck.
At all. So it's just like if you have a hand that's more fusion focused, you do not want to see that card, actually. No. But for the traps, Triple Sanguine.
The best card in the deck.
The best card in the deck. Being able just to have this and get either a DD Crow or a non-target pop later after you have Eldritch on field is crazy.
It's just like, hey, here's a free 25, 28 body, and then you can banish me later and get a DD Crow or a pop.
It literally fixes your hand and field at the same time, and it's so good. And yes, I am still playing only 2 of the Conquistador. Floodgates are in the deck for a reason. Mm-hmm. So it's like, oh, but you can't kill this, or you can't deal with this, you can't deal with this. I'm like, my opponent's not going to have anything on the field if my Floodgates do their job properly, and then my fusions are just going to beat over everything else. So I think 2 is fair.
Yeah, and in all fairness, I've been playing Master Duel a little bit and played Eldritch, and you only have 1, and it's still fine. It's still fine. I mean, it's a great card, but you might not need to see it all the time.
And then it can be bricky because the amount of times that I saw multiples of my Hakuros or my Conquistadors in hand, or even multiple Eldritches, it's horrible to see. Especially if you're going first, and it's just like, well, I kind of can't do anything, so you have to set 3 and make it look like that you have a play.
Yeah.
Next up, though, Hakuro or our DD Crow. So good. So good. This will help you beat tier in a lot of matchups. This will help you actually deal with most decks in this format right now, to be honest. Plus, it has 1800 attack and 1500 defense, which I love using. And then it's also a normal monster, so if you end phase it, same thing with Conquistador, you can go ahead and do Link Spider and then get their Grave effect to eventually get your Sanguine.
And what's really nice is they do have that 1800 attack, so it can go through a lot of sprite monsters.
Exactly. Next up, I love my Floodgates. We're gonna do
Anti-Spell. There you go.
I love this card. This card is so toxic, but it's so fun.
It's so good.
It's so good. I love that I consider it a better IO, believe it or not, because you're not having to pay, but I just have a free turn just to swing and not have to worry about what's going on in your field. Plus, I think I mentioned this last time, was I can do Heavenly Prison, set Harpy's Feather Duster, and then just kill your field. You
can just get rid of all the back row because it lasts that long.
Exactly. I'm like, oh, so you're setting all that? That's fantastic. Draw, standby, main, Harpy's Feather Duster. And then you just continue with the plays that you have going on.
That's so good. That's such a weird play, but it works.
This, I love, is probably easily my favorite card in the game right now, is my triple skills.
And you got the 3 ultis.
With this deck, I had to upgrade.
Look at those. Those look so nice.
Plus, there's an unwritten rule in Yu-Gi-Oh! If you pay for the ultis, you draw them more.
Yes,
so
it's real. I have 3 ultis too. It's real.
It's very real.
It's very, 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 very real.
But guys, this is a monster-heavy format. Skill drain is ridiculous, especially in Eldritch, because we barely care. It hurts your branded engine a little bit, but you want to see your Eldritch engine a little bit more, in my opinion.
Oh, yeah.
Next up, we're doing the triple summon limit.
Yeah.
Sprite uses Exceeds. Exorcister is going to use Exceeds. Tier, this card single-handedly beat them, believe it or not. Being able to only summon twice, even yourself, it's such a handy thing to have in this format that we're doing, just because there's so much combo and there's so much big monsters to get over. This is a good way to slow the game down so your pace is a little bit better for your
And
deck.
it's kind of like your own window.
It really is, because like I said, we're only going to summon maybe twice anyway. And it hurts them much more than it hurts you. Then we're going on with Triple Strike. Stops hand traps, stops summons. Very simple, but it comes up much more than you think. This card almost cost me a game 3, though. So I will say, as when I get to the side deck, this is actually a really good card to side out that won't hurt you as much. And then last with the main deck, Triple Punishment.
Oh, yeah.
You get to pop 2 cards. And it's searchable by Ecclesia, which is searchable by Nadir Servant. So it's just really good just having the ability to get rid of cards on the field for very little cost.
And you basically have 5 copies in the deck.
Exactly. We're going to go on to my side deck. This didn't change at all, but this was 3 Kaijus. Kaijus are really good right now. Just because Toad is a problem with Sprite, and then Tier, you get to decide if you can force them to use their grave effects if you're not ready to deal with it, or if you feel like you are.
Did you consider playing Lava Golem over them?
That is one of the things I am thinking about getting, just because boards are so big nowadays that you're going to either see them with Elf and Toad and something else. The big boy, strong one.
The Gigantic Sprite?
Thank you. Gigantic. And it's just like, or even Raw Sphere mode, which I got used against me, and that was not fun.
Wow. You're playing Eldritch Branded, and you got a Raw Sphere mode used against you. What?
So,
something went terribly wrong.
I did Lubellion, got into Dragoon, and then I had a card set, and Eldritch was engraved, so I brought him back, and then I set Conk, and I said, pass turn. They drew. They said draw, standby, main, and then gave me the Raw Sphere mode. I was like,
oh no,
it hurt.
That's so bad.
Another card that's in the side deck, which I think is underrated right now, is Nibiru.
Yeah.
I say it's underrated because people don't use it. Because everyone thinks it's like, well, everyone has a way to get around it. But your opponent thinks, oh, they're not going to use Nibiru because they think I have a way to get around it.
It's like reverse psychology.
It's exactly reverse psychology, because your Sprite player, granted, they may have Toad on field, but then if they're overextending and they're not respecting Nibiru, this can really change the game for how that game is going to go.
It really can, because Sprite doesn't even get that big.
It really,
like
exactly.
You can only do it with Cat Shark. You can only get to 64, really.
That's it for the monsters, the spells. And yes, I am choosing to side them as opposed to maining Dark Ruler no more.
I don't really blame you.
I only do it because, I think I said this in the last video, floodgates are very much in the deck for a reason. Granted, this just turns the field off, but floodgates say, I'm limiting your options on what to summon or even what to be able to do.
Plus, you're trying to go first.
Exactly. Like, in a trap-heavy deck, please go first. But traps very much are a thing, so you do the triple imperm. I remember even you said that you thought it was weird that I was siding them as opposed to maining them.
Yeah, I kind of did. I thought it was kind of weird.
And the thing is, I'm probably going to start maining them because this won me a duel. I brought 3 of them, and I had to use all 3 in the Sprite matchup, and Imperm was crazy.
Yeah, you could almost take out the copies of Solemn Strike for these.
No, exactly. That's honestly what I'm thinking about doing. Or the next card, which I'm probably going to do, is Triple D Barrier.
Yeah.
It's
just too good.
It's amazing right now. Fusions and Exceeds are where the game is, and this just straight up turns it off.
Yeah.
Also, there's one effect, which is how I won last week, that people forget. It negates the effects of that type that you declared. So if you have an Exceeds monster on the field and you call Exceeds, all Exceeds monsters on the field have their effects negated.
That's ridiculous. Oh my goodness. That's a really good effect.
It really is. And that's why I'm borderline thinking about putting these in as opposed to the Solemn Strikes.
And just going ahead and maining them.
Yeah, but that is my deck profile.
Oh, the extra deck.
Oh my god, thank you so much. Guys, I promise you I've done this before. I promise you. The One Link Spider.
Yeah.
This is your reason to play it because you have Conk and you have Hulk. Not Hulk, oh my god, no. Conk and Hakiro.
Yeah.
You put them in grave, and you are able to get their effects, allowing you to get to your Eldritch stuff quicker.
Because they're all normals.
They're all normals, and it's crazy to do. They have effects, but they're normal monsters. Love it. You have 2 Albion, as opposed to 3 now. Just because, as much as you want to respect your ability to have the card that banishes from extra deck to draw, a lot of the times you're not hitting you're not going to hit both copies, and even if you do, you can play around the risk of that happening. But this card just letting you get access to Dragoon or the big boy, the Mirror Jade, he's a must-have.
It's just too good.
It's amazing. But speaking of Mirror Jade, you're going to play 3 just because like I said, you want to be able to see this at one point. Being able to banish a card as opposed to destroying it in this current format is crazy. And then being able to use this effect for cost to put Albion or Titaniclad in grave allows you to set up more combos down the road in the duel.
It's just too good. It's just too good of a boss monster right now.
It's amazing, honestly. But honestly, I do like this one more. Titaniclad gives you a reason to put Eldlich in grave.
Oh, yeah, it does.
And this being 3,900 attack unaffected by monster effects, special summon from the extra deck is crazy. And then when he eventually does go to grave, you get to either get Ecclesia or Albaz and then adjust what you need to do for the next turn. You play one of him just so you can recycle.
And it's almost like an extra copy of Albion.
It is. That's what it is for. That's why I was very comfortable with him going to 2 as opposed to 3. This is your 3rd copy. And just being able to recycle resources in any point of the game is really good to have. This is one of my newest techs, and this was what took place. The Garura took the spot of the 3rd Lubellion, well, the Albion, because being able to go Nadir Servant, send this, add Ecclesia, and then draw a card.
Yeah,
that's +3.
Yeah, it is
from one card, and it's so fun to have. And if you do, and I'm thinking about putting Super Poly in here, it's a good Super Poly target.
Oh yeah, it is a great Super Poly target.
But sometimes you just need to kill things, and you have Dragoon.
Yeah. Yeah, you have Dragoon.
I think to this day, the best boss monster I've ever seen Konami print. I
agree. If you can make it, make it.
If you have the ability to make it in your deck and you don't, that's on you. Last for the fusion monsters, the Dear Servant. Punishment is a good card because of this card.
Oh yeah, because you get a double pop.
You get to target 2 things and kill them.
Yeah.
Very straightforward. But the card that helped me get to undefeated today is
the one
Gustav Max. We do not cowboy for game anymore. We cannon for game.
Yeah, you do. Yeah, you do. You go for the cannon, do the 2k burn damage, and you just win. So, is that it for the deck?
That is it for the deck.
That is a really good deck. No, you've actually taken first place, like, what, 2 weeks? Not 2 weeks in a row, but, like, to this week and not the last week,
and
but the week before that. Yeah.
2 weeks out of 3.
Yeah. Wow, that is amazing. So, anyways, guys, that's it for this one. Thank you so much, Noah, for the deck profile. That was absolutely insane. This deck is crazy powerful still to this day. So, anyways, guys, this is Dark Armed Duelist. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. You got any shout-outs, Noah?
Buds plays Alabama.
Yep. All right. We'll see you guys in the next one. See you later, guys.